All right, folks. Well, it's been 5 days since the beginning of the LA wildfires breakout. Today is Sunday. They started on Tuesday, and the fact that it's only been 5 days is honestly difficult for me to wrap my head around. It feels like it's been weeks since that night. That entire day, I still remember just about everything about it. I was sitting right here when I first saw the very first image of the wildfire pop up. And you know what's kind of wild when I was thinking about it is there was no like small fire photos. It was just like the first thing I saw was this gigantic plume of smoke over the Santa Monica Mountains. And I remember thinking like, that's not good. That is in a spot that is very dangerous for just about everybody in LA. Anyway, since then, there's a ton of stuff that we're going to talk about today. The first thing I want to show you guys is this. So this is a post on X. This is the closest and clearest footage I've seen of the first moments after the Palisades fire started. And it shows the exact starting location, which appears to be near a trail.
That shit is going quick.
Look at that. This is probably the very first image captured of the beginning of the fire. In terms of what ended up becoming of this, I mean, ultimately right here, this is small, easily containable. If fire department was able to get here in time, the entire world is different. Everything is different, right? Obviously, that's not the case, and it turned from this. On this day, you can see it's a little bit windy. I'm going to play this with sound so you can hear that it was indeed a windy day. It wasn't really that windy at this time, though. If there happened to be firefighters somewhere nearby, they probably could have got a hold on this. But even saying that is a stretch. It wasn't extremely windy. It was windy enough to easily make things challenging, even at this time.
This is the last. Dude, that's right where we were standing.
We were literally right there.
Holy shit.
So there's a couple things to point out about that, right? He says, this is right where we were standing. Someone else says we were standing right there. These are the guys there's absolutely no point in trying to witch hunt these dudes, but these are the people who captured the first images of the fire breaking out. Apparently, this is all on X. A lot of the stuff I see on here nowadays, I'm very skeptical of. You know, but I mean, it's hard to mix something like this up. Regardless, I mean, not saying obviously if they were involved with the beginning of the fire, it's almost impossible to say that someone would be doing something like this on purpose. Then again, there's been tons of stories about arsonists and just it is just an ocean of misinformation currently about this current disaster, and that's not going to change anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I feel like it's about to ramp up dramatically. And here's them running away. So here it's pretty windy.
Dude, it's catching up.
They are genuinely running away from the fire. So, I mean, obviously, there's only two things that make sense here. They accidentally were somehow involved with this fire's beginning, or it just happened to start near them. Either are equally possible, honestly, so there's no real telling. This is a longer clip of them getting away from it.
Wait, we're in.
I mean, as far as anybody knows, these are the first people to even realize that it's happening, probably. They were probably the first people in the entire world to see this start. Just watching this objectively is really interesting. Let's take a look.
Fire right now, guys. We gotta go up. Let's go up. Let's go up.
So they're trying to get away. I couldn't imagine being in this situation.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they're smart enough to understand the danger that they're in. And another thing, there's like, it seems nonsensical for them to record this if they purposely started a fire. I just don't think. There's tons of people who think that these guys started the fire. I truly don't believe that. Maybe I'll eat my words. As of right now, I think either it was an accident or they literally just happened to be there at the time of the fire starting. Just by matter of chance and circumstance, they were there. Maybe they were just on a hike. These are mostly publicly accessible trails, right? So it could have just been some college kids getting out, going on a walk. Happen to see the most historical fire in LA history begin right in front of them.
Wait.
Bro, oh
my God, look.
Bro, we might have to be on the top of this rock or something.
Jeez.
Yeah. We just gotta run.
Good thing they didn't stop on top of that rock. Let's just leave it at that. They kept going, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching this, probably.
We should go to the left, though.
Where are we going? Left.
This way.
If you've ever been in a moment of serious panic, though, getting on top of that rock probably sounds like a logical move at that point. You know, just elevate yourself.
Oh my God,
but
the wind's blowing right towards us.
next thing you know, you're surrounded by fire. So when you're panicking like that, all types of things are running through your mind to try and survive. So anyways, I would love to see more of this footage. I don't know if it's out yet, but I'm sure there will be more released of these guys and their adventure. As far as most people know, they're the first people to see what happened on that day when it all started. I also saw a lot of people saying that they should have put it out. I mean, that's just completely unrealistic. By the time, look at this clip. Like, you can't, like, there is no way. Like, you tell me, if you see this with your eyes, you're not a firefighter. What are you going to do about that, right? There's literally nothing you can do. So crazy to assume that people think that these guys should have gone back up there and put it out. It's just the amount of nonsense you read in times like these. It just baffles me. Second thing I want to reiterate, the amount of people that sent me this goofy AI clip. How could you watch this and not immediately realize it's AI, right? I had a friend send this to me, which he realized it was AI. I'm pretty sure. But like, the amount of people that I saw responding to this thinking that it was real is genuinely concerning, right? I think that that's, look, there's whatever the prompt was to make this, it set these cars on fire at the bottom of the hill. Like, I got no words for that. That's just like, you know, yeah. At one hand, it speaks to the fact that AI is really getting good. And while these are like really powerful images, they're AI. Like what? Like, I don't know, man. This is so bad they needed a community note it. It's exaggerated using AI. We are in a reality where this needs to be explained. Then again, I don't know, maybe to an untrained eye. I work around a lot of AI. I use Midjourney pretty much all the time for various things. So, I mean, I know AI when I see it, but I guess a lot of people are failing to make the distinction nowadays, and that's very concerning. Of course, another thing we're going to be talking about, I still plan on making a fully dedicated video about this, and I'm also thinking about, at least I'm considering, releasing the entire unedited footage of this day on this channel. Just for like historical reasons. A lot of people put this video into context to me. I mean, there's a few things that I want to point out about this. Like, when I go out to make a video, I do the exact same thing every time. I just go to a place, I have my camera charged, I have my bike ready to go, and I get out and I ride around and I record. In reality, that is exactly what I did on this day. I mean, no one ever knows when a video is going to take off. I did not. I truly, like, every time I post a video, I kind of have this expectation for how it's going to perform. I really thought this was going to get maybe like 30 or 40,000 views. It's currently sitting at 6.5 million right now. And it's been pretty overwhelming, the types of responses that I've been getting from it. Lots and lots of positivity, which I'm truly thankful for, that most people are taking it the correct way. I didn't really intend to be out here as a journalist, but if you guys watch my, like, a lot of people, like, I would say the overwhelming majority of people who watch this video have never seen a video of mine. A lot of you who watch my content regularly know this is exactly how I do everything. There's nothing different about the way that I conducted myself in this video. It just happened to be the things that we saw were extremely impactful. And I think that comes through in the way that I am doing the ride and the things that I'm talking about, the things that I see, and I'm trying to direct the viewer towards by like looking at it. Because ultimately my entire video is just my point of view wherever I go, and the things that I talk about. And that's it. That's literally the entire, like, what my content is on my main channel. So we will be doing a deeper dive into this video. There's a lot of things I do want to talk about it. That's going to be a separate thing. But I just wanted to point out that the response to this has been amazing. I do really want to, we're going to talk about this next. The timeline for this is so much longer than people think it is. The amount of damage that even I saw here, I realized that this is one of the few ways you can show how much like damage was done. And this was one day after, like, from those guys running down that hill, this is 24 hours later. 24 hours later, this is the result of that. In another part of town, this is in a different part of town. But just to give you context and how fast all this has been happening, and like I said, it's only 5 days later. I want to do another video talking about, you know, more of this, but this is going to take a really long time. I would love to be physically involved with a cleanup of this. I don't know how that's going to work right now. For what I'm hearing and the asking around I've done, right now, they do not want anybody involved for obvious reasons. That is because of the looting situation, which I still think is overblown, but you can't deny the fact that there are always going to be opportunists, even in situations like that. Say they had like a big public cleanup group of good intentioned civilians. There's no telling what you will find while cleaning something up in a fire residue situation in someone's house, personal belongings, just stuff that you wouldn't want, you know, like some random person cleaning up your life, basically, and they maybe find one of your possessions or something that didn't get burned. It'd be really easy for them to pocket it. let alone the people who start off with bad intentions, who actually they are a wolf in sheep's clothing and they just want to get out and, like take stuff. So long story short, I wanted to touch on that. This video, amazing reception to it. I'm really thankful for everyone who did show some love on it, support. I had some major news media outlets reach out to me over this video and I haven't responded to any of them. I don't plan on it either because I don't want this video to be used in the news. It's just is where it is. It's right here on YouTube. It's going to exist right here on this channel for the rest of its life. I don't plan on licensing the footage out to anybody or doing anything like that. It's just another day, just like everything else I have ever made a video about. It's just another day in my life that I went out to record, and these are the things I saw on this day. So that's that. I wanted to point on that for a bit. So although there's this huge focus right now about looting, which I think is like still just this media obsession that in reality is not really as bad of a situation as they're portraying it to be. From anyone who's outside of LA, you always think of this place as like once any type of disaster happens in LA, looting is the first thing that happens. And although that is true to an extent, it's always over dramatized. Now, the last time that looting was actually very severe was during the George Floyd riots. Ever since then, I can't remember one circumstance where like looting was widespread, but that's just the media's favorite talking point, of course. This did happen though, apparently. LAPD response to Kamala Harris, California home and Palisades fire evacuation zone. 2 men detained. So something I've been hearing, I don't know if this is true, but we're going to dive into it in a second, is that people are dressing up as firefighters in an attempt to loot undercover, which is crazy. Let's take a look at this first.
A burglary call this morning about 4:30. This was at the home of Vice President Kamala Harris. 2 men dressed all in black. They were detained by police and then questioned, but then later released.
Oh,
the Secret Service also responding to that same call. Those 2 men were inside the evacuation zone while the curfew was in effect. Now, it's unclear if anybody was actually home at the time of that call.
Wait, released? Dude, imagine you're out to hit licks in the devastation zone to try and come up on some stuff from people's burned houses, and you enter the current vice president's house. Talk about bad luck. But I guess they got let go.
So I have.
Oh, this is some other crap. Okay, so yeah, that happened. All right, here we have the head of the LA Sheriff's Department talking about people dressing as firefighters to loot. I didn't believe this, so let's take a look.
Fire area criminal activity. We had several more arrests overnight, bringing our total to approximately, I'm going to say approximately because we're still trying to reconcile numbers, about 29.
Wow.
25 in the Eaton Fire area and 4 in the Palisades area.
This is really disappointing because the video I did was in the Eaton Fire area. Now, obviously, when I was going there, many of you saw it was still on fire. So it was just a complete area of chaos. Like emergency forces were all over the place. There was as much cohesion as was possible for them at that time. So to hear that ratio of 25 there to 4 there, the Pacific Palisades area, there's very few ways to access that place because it's mainly canyon roads and they're all like the really windy, narrow roads. Whereas Altadena is a traditional grid style LA neighborhood where it's a bunch of city blocks, right? So doesn't surprise me that there's more over there.
AIDS area. I'm going to guess that Chief McDonald may talk about this, but when I was out there in the Malibu area, I saw a gentleman that looked like a firefighter, and I asked him if he was okay because he was sitting down. I didn't realize we had him in handcuffs.
Oh my God.
We were turning him over to LAPD because he was dressed like a fireman, and he was not.
Oh my God.
He just got caught burglarizing a home.
Oh my God. I mean,
frontline deputies and police officers are dealing with criminal activity.
I would love to see if they have a picture of that guy. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. How desperate do you have to be to how do you even get an outfit that looks that convincing to where the head sheriff of LA County looks at you and thinks you're a firefighter? That's why I really want to see an image, but I don't know if there is one. Good news alert. Man who lost foam in the Palisades fire discovers his dog Oreo is alive after spending 5 nights in the rubble. Man.
It's Tika Tika.
Dude.
It's Tika Tika. Hi, Bobo.
Oh, man.
Fire. Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
You're alive. Oh, honey. Oh, wow.
That's just good. You know, it's good. It's good. It's good. Scaring the dog. He's scaring the hell out of the dog. He's scaring the hell out of the dog. Okay. Now, I know first, I'm going to go ahead and say something. First thought through everybody's mind is going to be, why did the dog get left behind? You can't get in anyone's head. You were not there when stuff was going down. Stuff happens, all right? Like, in times of panic, stuff happens, all right? I'm just going to leave it at that. Of course, everyone is going to see this and be like, wow, how did you leave your dog behind? I honestly kind of think that too, but, you know, it just is what it is. The dog left behind. The facts of the matter is, dog is alive. Great. If dogs could talk, though, right? I wonder what that was like, surviving through those 5 days. He couldn't immediately come back. I'm sure he wanted to, right? The second he realized his dog was left behind, I'm sure he was like, oh my God, I need to go back. Once you're out of there, you can't go back. Even just looking. Here's another thing I wanted to show you guys. This right here is the craziest footage I've seen from inside of the fires. This was the first night. So the first night everything kicked off, there was no type of like restrictions on entering. People were actually going back here. There was a guy live streaming like as much as what he was seeing as possible. As you can see, these guys are on dirt bikes riding through it. Just like, wow. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I would be brave enough to do this. Like, I mean, this is the craziest. This looks like it's from a movie, right? It totally, you show this to anyone in any type of other context when this didn't happen, they're like, whoa, like that's like a super multi-million-dollar movie set. It looks like it could be for Universal or something, right? But just out of this world stuff, man. This is from alex.4c on Instagram. I'll put him in the description, but man, just unbelievable. I don't know how they could get this unless they already happen to be in the area, because I think for the majority of us on the night when this all started, nobody really realized what was actually going on, like on this level where these guys are at, like on the street level. It was kind of hard to realize. All we saw at that point was there is some newscasters down on the ground, but like this is what shows it in like a totally different context. It's like, whoa, just everywhere you go, and this was when the wind was kicking up. And Max, I don't know, this is one of the most iconic pieces of tape that's going to come out of this, I think, is the fact that these guys rode through here on their dirt bikes. It's right up there with the McDonald's sign and the blowing embers. So that leads us all to where we are right now. It's Sunday, just past 3 p.m. And here's the latest from the National Weather Service of Los Angeles. Particularly dangerous situation, PDS, red flag warning. So we have more wind coming up. For those who still are kind of unaware how this entire happened, it's all because of the wind, really, because the source of all the problems is strong wind. It's something that we cannot do anything against. That's one of Mother Nature's, big cannons. You can't really, there's literally nothing you can do about wind, right? Heads up, strong, locally damaging northeast to east winds will affect West LA County and much of Ventura County through Wednesday. Critical fire weather is expected, so please have multiple ways of getting notifications in case of new fires and prepare ahead of time. It is entirely realistic that more wildfires could break out as of next week. To be honest, the situations have not changed much. We still haven't got rain. It's not like there's been any potential for public service to have a second of free time to go and prevent what has caused this in the first place, which is a ton of dry brush. Anywhere where there's dry brush that hasn't been burned yet, there is now going to be a potential for it to burn coming up next week with this increased winds again. It's still going to be warm. It's going to be dry. And we don't have rain. That is the biggest problem. There's just no rain. It is what it is. So we're not out of the weeds yet as far as wildfire potential. It could spring up again next week. I am sure that I, along with everybody else, am praying that it will not. But Mother Nature, it just is what it is. So that's what we're looking forward to. Anyways, here's your update. I don't know how much fire coverage I'm going to be doing on this channel right now. It's just very pertinent to my life and to everything that's going on out here in LA. And it's something that I'm genuinely interested in. So if you appreciate the coverage, if you are interested, drop a sub, get in the comments down below. Let me know what you think.